Okay, so in today's session, we'll work on application server files. So, what are the application server files and how we use these application server files in SAP, and how to create application server files and how to read application server files. So, we'll check all these things. So, the transaction code we use to access the application server files are AL11. AL11 is the transaction code to access the application server files. For example, AL11. So these are all the directories for just like folders in your local system, right? Go to AL11, AR home. This is the default directory usually, default folder. So these are all the files available in that folder. This is one file. That might be any file, text file or a comma separated file. Let me find some file. Someone created this file in the directory. So this is the directory path. This is called directory path. So in your local desktop, what is the directory path? For example, go to desktop, go to some folder, this folder. So to access this file, Eclipse URI, what is the path? This is the path. C, users and username and the folder, right? But here the file path is like this because it's not in local system, right? It is in a server, shared server. So this is the server directory path to access this file. File name is lv underscore path. This is the data available in that file. This is saved in application server AL11, right? Now we'll see. So why we use these application server files and how to create the files and how to access the files. Okay, what is a local file? So earlier we worked with local files, right? Uploading text files, Excel files to the system or to the internal table. So how we did that? So let's say this is a SAP program. File. File can be any file, text file, Excel file, CSV file, right? It would accept PDF files. It cannot read the PDF files. There is other process to read the PDF files. But usually text files and Excel files. And then this is to download the SAP data into file. So we can upload the data or download the data. This is also a local file. Now, how to upload the local file to SAP? How to upload the local desktop file to SAP? By using
GUI underscore
GUI
upload.
upload is the one function module, and what is the other function module?
Text underscore convert.
Text convert underscore XLS.
Mm, text name might be little different. I don't remember the exact name, but these are the function module we use to upload the local file into program and into SAP internal tables, right? We can able to upload the data into SAP internal tables inside the program. So what is the other process we have? We can also download internal table data into local file. That is by using GUI underscore
Download.
download. By using this function module, we can download the internal table data into local file. Local file nothing but your local system file, right? Now, in a project, there might be, so let's assume there are 20 users, right? But when we are working with these files, local files, these files will be available in the local system, right? Every user's local system. These files are available in every user's local system. They are not shared folders or they are not shared files so that all the users can access the same file. These are local files which are local to, for example, their laptop. These files are available in their laptop. They can upload the files from laptop and they can download those files into their local laptop. They are not shared files, right? That is one thing. If you want to share the SAP data to external systems, what are the options we have? I'll give you a scenario. So, in your company, you have many employees, maybe 1,000 employees, and as part of HR benefits, you are going to provide them the health insurance. Who will provide you the health insurance? Is your company going to provide the health insurance? Like who's managing that insurance? Certainly, your company will pay for insurance, but who will provide you the insurance?
HRT.
That's what company means HR team. They'll provide you that benefit. They'll provide you that benefit, but who will actually provide you that insurance policy?
The insurance company. Insurance company.
Insurance provider, right? So for employees, who will provide the insurance? Insurance provider, there are many companies, right? Different companies are available. LIC or maybe There are Apollo Health Insurance. There are many health insurance providers, whoever, right? Now, whenever a new employee joined, whenever a new employee joined, you have to send this data to insurance provider, right? To create health insurance policy for that new employee. Yes or no? Otherwise, how can that insurance provider knows that a new employee is joined in your company? Because they'll be having they are going to work with many companies, right? They are going to provide health insurances for many companies, right? Many employees of many companies. So if there are any new joiners in your company, you have to share the details to insurance provider, right? To create the insurance policy, what are required? What are the required information? Employee name, employee
Mhm.
age, gender, and their dependents, employee dependents, and their age, and their names. All these details the company should share with the insurance provider, right? How they are going to share the details with insurance provider? Are they going to send emails? Are they going to manually send emails? If you take any big company about the employee details, no, that should not happen. Every day they'll trigger a program, or you can also call background job, or there are many other alternatives. They can use automatic interface which should trigger automatically whenever a new employee is created in the HR data. So for example, let's assume this background job. What this background job will do? Background job nothing but a program. It runs every day automatically at certain point of time. If you set the job at 7 p.m., so that program, that report program will run daily at 7 p.m. What the functionality of this program? So this background job will read all the records or all the employee records created today and select all the data and prepare a file and send it to the insurance provider, whoever the new joiners. That program will automatically select the data from different tables, different employee related tables, and their names, date of birth, dependent data, and everything. They collect the information and they'll send the data in the form of a file to insurance provider. So that insurance provider will check the data and create policies and send the confirmation, policy numbers and everything. They might also use a file as a interface to transfer the data. Okay. So here how they are transferring the data from one system to another system in the form of file, right? File is also one type of interface. Interface nothing but which exchanges data between one system to another system, right? File is one type of interface to exchange the data, right? There are many other interface options also, but in which scenario we go for file interfaces? In which scenario we go for file interfaces? In which scenario we go for file interfaces? Although we have different other interface options available, BAP is also, we can use it as an interface to transfer the data to third party systems, correct? Can't we use BAP? So BAPIs can be called by third-party systems, right, to access SAP data? Yes or no?
Yes. Yes, sir.
So in which scenario we go for those BAPI function modules? We have also other concept like IDOCs, proxies. There are different other interface options available. But in which exact scenario we go for file interface? To handle large data. If you need to transfer one or two records, you may not require file interfaces. You can go for a BAPI call, or you can use a web service, or you can use a proxy. But if you transfer large data, thousands of records to the receiver, what we use? So one of the available approach to transfer the large amount of data is using file in the form of a file. Okay. Now in this scenario, for example, every year, insurance policies will change, right? They are going to issue new insurance policies or new insurance cards, right? After expiring of insurance policy. For that, what the insurance provider need? The updated details of the all employees, right? Now, what we will do, so I'll explain you one more process. There will be a process of insurance enrollment. Every year, they'll provide a certain time period. For example, between March to April, they'll provide they'll provide some last date for enrollment, and they'll open the window for insurance enrollment. So every employee should enroll for the insurance, and they have to add their dependents. For example, few employees got married, and they need to add their spouse in the insurance enrollment. If they have any children, they needs to add children to the insurance policies. So every year they'll provide some certain time period to add all these dependents and spouses, childrens, whatever the changes they want. So once the enrollment period is completed, right, what the company will do? Company will do, company will share all the employees' data to insurance provider. If you take TCS, how many employees they might have? More than 2 3 lakhs, right? Maybe around 3 lakhs. So TCS will share all their employees' data to the insurance provider after the enrollment is completed. So insurance provider will create insurance policies for all the employees. Now, what is the suitable approach here to share all the employees' data? If you use any other like BAPI calls or anything, right? They cannot handle large amount of data. They can handle one or two records, maybe few thousands of records. They cannot handle a large amount of data. To transfer large amount of data, they are not suitable. So what is the available option to transfer large amount of data in the form of file? So the employee side, what he'll do? Prepare a file, prepare the data in the form of file, and they'll share that data. They'll share that file in the form of a file to the insurance provider. How they are going to send that file? Are they going to send email? Someone from HR team is going to send that email to the insurance provider with all these details. Maybe that happens if it is a small company with 10 or 20 employees in this scenario. But usually what will happen? They'll prepare a file that might be a text file or Excel file, and they'll place that file in where they are going to place that file? Application server. So the company will prepare the file and they'll place that file in application server. They're not going to keep that file in their local system. They'll keep that file in application server. Application server nothing but a shared folder. For example, FTP or SFTP. File transfer protocol. Secure file transfer protocol. FTP means file transfer protocol. What is SFTP? SFTP is little advanced. Secured file transfer protocol. So they use this protocol to transfer the file from one system to another system. So application server is a kind of shared folder which is available in online, not in your local system. Now what the insurance provider will do? The insurance provider will use a middleware tool to select the data from, to select the file from application server folder. They'll select the file from application server folder and they'll use that file to create insurance details. Inside their own programs, they'll use that they'll use that file as input to create the data. Okay, that is sending the data to third party systems. Third party systems, here third party system is insurance provider. Let's assume this as a SAP system. This is a third party system. Insurance provider uses a third party systems. Now once the insurance provider created all the insurance policies for all the employees, now insurance provider has to share the data to employer, right, or the company, right? What is the policy number of each employee and what is the start date and expiry date and everything they have to share, right, for each employee. Now what the insurance provider will do? Insurance provider will also create a file with all the insurance policy details and they'll place that file in application server. Now the company will pick a program from the company side, will select a file from the application server and create the data in SAP, relevant SAP tables. You know how to process the file. We convert the file data into internal table and we use that internal table data to process the or insert the records into SAP, right? Now which one is inbound and which one is outbound? Which one is inbound process and which one is outbound process? Sending from company to insurance provider. What is this process? Outbound or inbound?
Outbound.
Outbound.
So this is a we are going to send a outbound file. Outbound means from SAP system to other system, source system to target system. We are sending the data. This is outbound process or outbound file. This common terminology for any interface type. That might be a proxy, IDOC, anything. We talk about inbound or outbound. If it is outbound, we are sending data to third party system or the receiver system. Inbound means receiving the file or receiving any data from this is inbound. Since we are working with files, we can call this as inbound file. Where they are going to keep these files? Outbound files or inbound files? In application server. Okay? In application server. These files can be accessed by sender and receiver. If they have permissions, if they have permissions to that particular folder, application server folder. Okay? Clear? Is everyone able to understand in which scenario we use file interface? When we need to transfer large amount of data, we use file interfaces. We prepare all the data into one file, and then we're going to keep that file in the application server. Now we are going to learn how to post or how to create file in application server, or how to read file from application server into SAP. To create the file, what is this process? To create the file in application server, is it inbound or outbound?
Inbound.
Inbound. So why you are creating a file in SAP side? You are using a program in SAP to create a file in application server. Once the file is created in application server, the receiver will pick that file to transfer the data or to receive the data. Now what is this process? Outbound, right?
Outbound sir.
Now, for example, file is created by the insurance provider in application server, and SAP will read that file from application server to SAP. Now, is this inbound process or outbound process? When SAP is
Inbound.
receiving the data, inbound. When SAP is sending the data in the form of file,
Outbound.
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 Now, to send the data from SAP side, we need to create a file in application server. We need to create a file in application server. To receive the data, we need to read the file from application server, right? Now we need to work on like how to create the files in application server, or how to read the file from application server. Okay, is everyone clear? Is everyone clear on this process?
So,
If
yes,
everyone
sir.
if every one of you clear, then we'll create the program.
Yes, sir.
In which scenario we use files? There are many other interface options. Please remember, we have idocs, BAPIs, proxies, right? But when we go for a file, you should understand that when we have large amount of data to be transferred. Okay, usually these file interface programs will run in background daily, or maybe not daily. We can schedule whenever that program should execute. So that program will automatically execute, and it will prepare a file and post the file to application server. Okay. So whenever there is a file in application server, there might be another program which is reading that file automatically and creating data into SAP. There is no manual interaction. You don't need to upload the file and you don't need to download the file. Program will automatically pick the file from application server and it will create the data in SAP. Only thing we need to do is we need to create a program and we need to run that program in background, and we need to set the time when that program should execute. Is it weekly, monthly, daily? We need to set that condition for that background job program. It will automatically create the programs in application server, and it will automatically read the file from application server to SAP. There is no manual interaction here, correct? But when you are working with local files, you cannot run the local file program in background. You cannot, it cannot pick the file from local system automatically, right? For that, you need manual interaction. A user should every day a user should manually execute the program whenever required. But when we are working with application server files, we can run the programs in background and we can schedule the program so that the program will run automatically and create the files in application server. The other program will read the file from application server and create the data in SAP automatically. Okay. Only input for this program is, what is the input? Path, application server path, to read the file or to create the file. What is required? What is the input for the application server program? Application server path, application server folder address. In which folder this program should create a file? Or if it is an inbound process, so every day that program is going to run in background, right? We need to provide a path in which folder this program check for a file. If there is a file available, select the file and read the data into SAP. So we need to provide the path. So to upload the local files, we have a function modules: GUI upload, text convert, Excel, SAP, and we have another function module for CSV file. But now we are working with application server files. What are the options to convert internal table data into a file and post it into application server, or to read the application server file and convert into a internal table data? So the file input might be different inputs. So there might be a text file, or there might be a comma separated file, there might be another other pipe separated file, or sometimes we used to handle XML files. We used to handle XML files, right? Depends on the data available in the file. We need to create the business logic to create the, or to create, to handle the data and to convert the data into internal table. Okay. Now, so to create the data, first we'll see how to create the data in application server, and then we'll see how to read the data from application server. So the common statement to create the data or to read the data, the syntax is open data set. Here you need to provide file name or file path, the application server file path for output or input. Now, when we use output and when we use input, output is for create the data in application server, create a file in application server. For that we use output. To read the file from application server into a SAP program, what we use? Input. Okay. To create the file we use output. To read the file we use which one we use?
Input.
Input. And we need to provide the mode. In, we can create the file in text mode or binary mode. We can use any of this option. We can use text mode or binary mode. So when we use binary mode, right? The So it will transfer the data character wise, character by character. When we use binary mode, but usually it doesn't make any difference in the front end. But in background, how it's going to transfer the data, that will be different. But when you use binary mode, it will transfer the data character by character. But if you take text mode, it will start from line, the complete line. But when we are reading data in text mode, right, sometimes if you have like a large amount of data with many columns, sometimes we may like the data might be truncated when we are using text mode, because it will check for complete line. But when you take binary mode, it will check for record by record, sorry, character by character, each character. So there is little limitations in text mode. Sometimes you may lose the data. The data might be truncated nothing but it may not be able to capture the entire line. Okay. For example, mode is optional. If you don't provide any mode, what is the default mode? When you are reading the file, if you don't provide any mode, text mode or binary mode, what is the default mode? Binary is the default. Binary is the default mode if you don't provide any mode. Okay, clear? So what is this open data set? So we have another extension, that is encoding. The syntax is to open file in AL11. AL11 or application server, don't confuse, both are same. Application server. What is this for? To create the file or to open the file in application server. Is it going to transfer the data? Is it going to create the data in the file? If you use open data set only? No. It will just create one empty file. To create the data in the file, what we need to do? We need to use a transfer from, for example, work area. You don't need to use these brackets because I'm using these brackets just to indicate that we need to use work area here, or I'll use like this. To this name, file name, whatever the file we have created here. Okay. Usually the file path, whatever the file path we are using. Now, once the data transfer is completed, actually we need to run this within the loop. We need to loop the internal table data and we need to transfer record by record to that file. Clear? Now, once the data transfer is completed, what we need to do? We need to close the file.
Close.
Close data set and For example, file name. So here, transfer is to create the data, right? But to read the data from file to SAP, let's assume the file is already there in application server and we need to read that file to SAP, not to create. For that, what is the statement? Read data set into, for example, some work area. Now we can append, sorry, where I'm writing this.